There's something about the sound of the ocean at night. The way it swallows everything. Noise, light, even guilt. It reminds me of love. Sometimes love finds you in the most interesting places. For me, it was here. With him. And the bodies we leave behind. The sound of body parts hitting the water. Strangely, it comforts me. Especially with Julian by my side. I don't feel much. Never really did. But for him, I feel something. It's not love the way most people know it, but it's enough. The victim was just some random person on the street. Nothing special. They didn't matter. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that night, something changed. Julian noticed my nightly disappearances. He'd been watching me leave at odd hours, wondering why his perfect little Eve couldn't stay put. My urges, the ones I couldn't control. They started getting his attention. I'll never forget the look on his face when he caught me. His eyes wide, curious. Not horrified, not disgusted, no. Julian was intrigued. I was certain he'd expose me, maybe even call the cops, but instead, he knelt down next to the body and asked if I needed help. Imagine my shock when he offered to help dismember and rid of the first victim he ever saw me take. I realized then, we were the same. I had found someone who didn't just understand me, he wanted to be a part of it. It was the beginning of us. Some people fall in love over dinners, walks, conversation. We fell in love over blood, bone, and the soft sound of skin tearing under a blade.
Another bag ready. You want to do the honors, my love?
Always.
There's something about the way you dump your victims in the ocean. It's poetic, really.
Flattery won't get you anywhere, but I have to agree.
So, where do we go from here? We've already hit the 4 people we had planned.
Do you know of this place?
Thornfield Isle? I know where that's at, but do you know who lives there?
No, nor do I care. Tonight was perfect, Julian. The waves crashing against the boat, bodies sinking to the bottom. It's something everyone should experience at least once. I do, however, know what's inside.
Oh, and what's that?
Secrets. Old ones. Dark ones. And maybe a few treasures for us to claim, if we play it right. What is it?
110.
110. What do you mean?
That's the final count after we dumped the last 2 victims here. We've been doing this for a little over a year now.
I know. Isn't it great?
I'm not denying that, but we've been doing this for a little over a year. Why do we need to raid some big-shot celebrity's house for treasures? Can't we just kill him? Dump his body here like the others? That's so much more soothing to me.
Sure it is. But have you ever thought that we might need something in case things go south? Killing people isn't exactly a rewarding job. Though I'd love it if it were.
I get it, Eve. It's risky, though. Breaking into rich houses, taking them out, pawning their stuff. It's more exposure, more ways for us to get caught.
Not if we're smart about it. Think about it. We hit the wealthy ones. They've got cash, jewels, things worth real money. We make them vanish. Clean, like they just up and left without a trace. No bodies. No evidence. Pawn off their things to random pawn shops for income. This way we can stay out of the day job.
If we orchestrate enough of a plan, cover every angle, make sure it's clean, untraceable, we could pull it off. But we need to be careful, Eve. We've been doing good so far, keeping low. You're talking about doing serial killing full time. It's risky.
Of course. We plan it to perfection. I'm not talking reckless spur-of-the-moment hits. We scout, we study, we clean up after. We make them disappear. We can start small, and when it works, we do this full time.
All right. We'll think on it for a day or two. Make sure everything's set right. If it looks like it'll work, we go for it. But no screw-ups, Eve. If we pull this off, we keep our tracks clean. No one finds us. Ever.
Sounds like a plan. Can I show you something really quick? Shifting the boat into gear, we moved from our dumping site onward, toward the mansion I wanted to hit. After about a 20-minute drive, we arrived outside of the mansion. Mansion. I use that term lightly. This wasn't a mansion. This was an empire. In front of the house was the docking port and a little bit of beach, but the rest of the island was part of the castle.
Is this the place?
This is it.
This guy must own at least 6 houses. I'm shocked he doesn't have his own security system this far offshore.
Right? I just wanted to take you here to show you this. Could you imagine the payout we could get raiding this guy? We'd have enough money to do whatever the hell we want to do. We'd still kill people, of course, because the thrill. It's such a rush. We can't stop now, Julian. Not now. Not ever. Let's take tonight to plan. Then come out here and get rid of this chump.
God, you're so hot when you take charge. After we take this guy and put him in the bottom of the ocean, let's take a sex-killing spree vacation.
A sex-killing spree vacation.
Yes! Let's take his money, his house, his life. Go somewhere. Use his money to take a vacation. Kill a whole bunch of people. After each person we kill, we can have sex in their house.
That's nasty. I like it. But why wait till then? Let's do it right here. Right outside of his property. Sex with Julian was always fun in the strangest places. Maybe that's why I felt so attached to him. I remember one time, after dumping a body over the side of the boat, I saw it in his eyes. The way it excited him. The way he looked at me, as if that act alone was all it took to get his blood pumping. He took me right there, over the side of the boat. That's the thing about Julian. It wasn't just about the killing. He got off on the danger, the control. And honestly, I wasn't going to complain. Right here, right now, under the moonlight, with the waves crashing against the side of the boat. It felt like we were unstoppable. After finishing, we took off. The next day came, and I found myself in the basement of our house prepping for the mission tonight.
Hey, check this out.
What's this?
Some stories about this place that have been circulating around the internet.
I read the articles that Julian printed off. Some were about missing people, and stories about pedo rings. All on Twitter and Reddit threads he had printed out. You aren't getting cold feet, are you?
No, nothing like that. I just want us to be prepared, that's all.
Good. Let's make 111 a special one. Nothing like the smell of salt water and the cool breeze running through your hair at night. It's freeing, in a way. Like the world is ours, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop us. The boat ride was only a few minutes away from Thornfield Isle. We could already see the silhouette of the mansion in the distance, dark and looming, like it was waiting for us. Julian insisted on driving. He always liked being in control, and I figured, why not let him have this one? The night was perfect, and soon enough, it would be even better. The island was calling, and so were the riches inside. The boat slowed to a halt as Julian eased it alongside the dock. I grabbed our backpacks and tossed them onto the landing. We got out onto the dock, grabbing our bags and walking over to the beach. God, I feel like a little girl on Christmas Day.
I feel... Shit! You gotta be kidding me!
Oh, no. Shit!
So much for them not having any security systems outside of the castle. We must have tripped something pulling into the dock. Good thing we weren't on that boat.
Yeah. What do we do now? How the hell are we gonna get off this island?
Well, if they didn't know we were here before, they do now. Maybe there's a dock or something on the other side.
You think so? What would be the odds?
That's the thing I don't know. But I feel like if someone was here, they would have definitely heard that explosion. Let's move forward with caution.
Caution. We just lost our way out of here, Julian.
We'll figure it out. We've dealt with worse, haven't we?
Yeah. But our damn boat blowing up wasn't part of the plan.
Hey! We'll figure it out, okay? I'm sure there has to be another way off this island. Let's take the weapons we brought and continue on inside. Cover each other's backs, and we'll get through this. Let's stick with the original plan, okay?
Fine. We reached down, grabbing our silenced pistols out of our bags, making our way over to the front entrance of the castle. Even a distant view doesn't do this place justice. This thing is huge.
That's what you said last night.
Really?
What?
Do you really think now is a good time to drop a joke like that?
Fine. Is the door even unlocked?
I'd be shocked if it is. But there's one way to find out.
Well then, that's a bit of a shocker.
We proceeded into the castle. I reached down, grabbing my flashlight at my side. Flipping it on. Julian followed pursuit. Look at these walls. The portraits. It feels like they're watching us.
Yeah, let's just hope these portraits aren't peepholes. Stay close.
These walls are so old. It's almost like this place was built during the medieval era.
All one floor. Something seems off, Eve. What castle do you know of that's all one floor? Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maybe we should turn back.
How? Are we going to swim?
Hey! What the hell?
Julian, what's going on?
The floor is shifting! Get to the corners of the castle! The floor turned into a pit? You gotta be kidding me! Hey, Eve?
Yeah?
I think we might have messed up.
You think? What do we do now? I slid my way over to Julian, grabbing a hold of one of his arms. For the first time, I could feel my heart beating in my chest 100 miles an hour. I noticed a door. Julian, the door, over there! He shined his light across the room from us, then down into the open floor.
Holy shit, Eve, that's a long way down! How is this What's even happening?
I don't know, but we need to get to the door. Hold on to me, okay? I'm going to navigate to the other side. We cautiously moved alongside the wall, maneuvering our way over to the door. I knew Julian was scared of heights, so I moved as sparingly as I could. One little slip, and we would both fall to our end.
What is going on? What is this place?
The architecture of this place, I can hardly believe it. It draws you in. Deep breaths, Julian. Deep breaths. You're going to be okay. After a few minutes passed, Julian stood back up, shining his light across the castle too.
How deep do you think this place goes? I know it looked huge from the outside, but we have to be far into the cliffside by now.
It's really hard to say. Let's try to get to the bottom of this. The fact this prick is somehow doing this makes me want to off him even more.
I second that. I want to be the first one to put a bullet in whoever this guy is, and chop him up limb by limb.
There's gotta be a way out of here.
Only way I'm seeing is forward, but there's no door in this...
Shit! Not again. Get to the sides! The room once again started to shift, causing us to panic. This time the ceiling started to move. The same with the side walls. Giant metallic saws started lowering from the ceiling and coming out of the walls. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was almost like this house was alive. If this rich asshole planned this, I'd say this wasn't his first rodeo.
Eve! Those saws are moving towards us! We gotta find a way out!
Yeah, I'm looking for a door. I'm not able to find one. The saws are in the way.
We need to move now!
We moved closer to the saws in the middle of the room, trying not to get cut by one of them. There was a very small opening in between the one in front of us. It was risky, but we needed to take it to get to the other side. There, between the two blades.
You can't be serious!
It's the only way, Julian. Grabbing Julian's hand, we started to move through the blades. That's when I heard it.
What the hell was that?
I looked down to see Julian's foot on a sunken tile on the floor. Julian, look out! I reached out to grab Julian, but he shoved me aside, thrusting me through the narrow gap between the blades. As I stumbled to the other side, the sickening sound of a saw tearing through flesh filled the air. A blade grazed my head, clipping a lock of my hair, a chilling reminder of how close I came to sharing his fate. Julian! Everything happened in a blur. Julian darted between the whirring blades, his hands slick with blood. And he grabbed me, propelling me through the doorway. As he pushed me forward, relief washed over me at the sight of him. Bloodied, but whole. As we entered into the next room, a heavy mechanism clanked into place, and the door slammed shut behind us, locking tight with an ominous echo. Julian fell to the ground, holding his wound.
Fuck!
I'm so happy you're okay. You're losing a lot of blood. You shouldn't have done that, you dummy. I would have much rather lost my arm rather than you.
No! All that matters is you're okay. I'm just glad I was able to get out of there alive. Or something like that.
Hold still. I'm going to try to wrap your arm to stop the bleeding. I slung my backpack around, rummaging through to grab our first aid kit. Julian had always been the one to insist on being prepared, and right now I was grateful for his foresight. I pulled out a belt and used it as a makeshift tourniquet, securing it just above his bicep. I then tightly wrapped the gauze around his arm, right where the saw had taken his forearm off. Anger began to seethe within me as I worked. This guy was toying with us, and I hated being anyone's puppet.
What? What's wrong? Ah!
He's toying with us. Sorry, I have to make this tight to stop the bleeding.
Toying with us? You think he knows we're here?
He knows, Julian. The house isn't just some haunted castle, it's a setup. Do you remember seeing any other exits on the way in?
The vent! There!
The castle is shifting again. We don't have time to prepare for what's next. These aren't timed. Like I said, he's toying with us. I pointed my flashlight up top to the left of the castle, where Julian had pointed to. A giant red vent started spewing gas. Not good. I helped Julian get back to his feet. Can you walk?
Yeah.
With my help, Julian and I ran over to the other side of the castle, pulling our shirts over our noses.
The levers stick out. One of these has to stop the gas and unlock this door.
Hang on 1 second. I grabbed my bag again, grabbing my gas mask from within, and Julian's out of his for him. A memory shot into my head from when we poisoned a random family with toxic gas, and we needed the gas mask for that. Slipping on the gas mask and securing our bags, we engaged with the levers in front of us.
Okay. Let's be smart about this. My guess is if we press a lever, something bad will happen before we find the right one.
Without a doubt. But we don't really have time to waste.
This one over here. It's not color-coded as the others.
But my choice was a mistake. Instead of halting, the gas hissed louder, filling the room faster. We were burning through our oxygen at an alarming rate.
Julian? Some of the gas... It's seeping through my mask.
Damn it! There must be some sort of combination with these levers to make the gas stop. Think, Eve. Any clue or pattern on these levers that might help us figure this out?
Nothing obvious, just keep trying levers. One has to shut it up.
Hang in there. We're not dying here. Not today.
I tried to move, but the gas seeped further into my mask. So I stood still, to conserve what little air I had left. Each breath became harder, each moment longer. Julian worked feverishly, testing lever after lever with his one arm. Then, just as I thought we were at the end, Julian shouted,
I got it!
He'd found something. A lever hidden behind a loose panel. It wasn't like the others, it was larger, more ominous. I stumbled in the next door, collapsing onto the ground.
You okay?
Yeah, I think so. I think I need like 10 minutes or so. This is ridiculous. We should have never targeted this place.
Yeah, I agree.
I stood back up, grabbing my pistol from my holster.
What is this place?
Aligned aside the wall were a dozen cases. Some of them were 6 feet high, while others were 6'4". We maneuvered cautiously, noting the eerie stillness in the air. Each case was sealed tightly. Inside, shadows that seemed almost human. It was then that Julian paused, squinting at something at the base of the cases.
Eve, look here. Each of these cases, there are name tags at the bottom.
Name tags? The hell is this place?
It's like a museum, but not for art. They're not just displays. I recognize some of these names. I've seen them before, but I can't remember where.
This is a showcase.
What?
I'd almost laugh if this wasn't what they had in store for us. Julian, these are trophies. Probably people that ventured in here before us.
You're right, but I recognize some of these names. No! Eve, these are previous serial killers! Look!
What is this, asshole? Some sort of vigilante cop? I'll be damned if he takes us as a trophy.
You good?
Huh? Yeah, the bullet missed me. Son of a bitch.
What are you doing?
Trying to break open one of these. I'm not gonna let them get away with this.
Stop! Who the?
Show yourself.
Impressive. Not many have made it this far.
This far? What is this?
This is art. And you, my dear, can call me Adrian. I am the master of these collected, the curator of what I like to call Adrian's art, a collection named after myself, showcasing the beauty in the macabre.
So what? You just harvest us like trophies? Are these all serial killers too? Or people that you've killed from this house?
A sly smile formed over his lips, telling me all I needed to. He took a step forward. No, don't move! You move, and I will blow your fucking brains out! We're not some sort of art piece to go in your collection. You're sick.
I'm sick. Do you not collect lives? Me. I'm just collecting art, ridding the world of people like you.
Eve! You shot her? You bastard!
I fell to the ground on my back, feeling the side of my neck where I was shot. There was a dart. I pulled the dart out of the side of my neck, lifting my head up to see Adrian taking cover behind one of his museum cases. Darkness overcame me. My head was heavy. My thoughts scrambled. I tried to move, but restraints bit into my wrists, holding me down. Let me go, you bastard. I'm not going to sit here and take this. Julian and I will kill you. Once I get out of here, I will be the first one to put a bullet in your head. Then I'm going to chop you limb from limb.
Oh, yeah? And tell me, how exactly are you going to do that?
Julian, if you're near and you can hear my voice, this isn't the end. We're going to get—
Stop it! Look.
Adrian's gloved hand forcefully turned my head to the right. Julian was strapped to a gurney, too. His head hung down, and I couldn't tell if he was breathing or not. I struggled against the restraints again.
Go ahead. This is the part where you plea and beg me to stop. All of you always do that awesome bullshit. Your boyfriend or lover isn't dead. He's just unconscious. He won't be able to hear you. I thought about starting with him, but you woke up first. I don't really prefer to do this when you're awake. Too much yelling and whatnot. But here we are. So, which one do you prefer?
Feeling defeated, my hair covered my face, and tears started to well up.
Oh shit, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. All of you always do this. But you two are interesting. I've never met a couple that serial kills together. Are you crying over him? Are you crying because you're about to be beheaded and skinned?
It's him. It's always been about him. I'm not afraid of dying. What kills me is knowing I dragged Julian into this.
Hey, I asked you a question. Which one do you prefer? You don't have emotions. You're just a killer, like all the others. And if someone doesn't stop you, you keep doing it over and over again. That's why I collect you as art.
Look at me. Do I look like I don't have emotions? Just because I don't feel like everyone else doesn't mean I don't feel at all. And right now, I feel enough for both of us. I struggled against the restraints again, feeling the left one give way. slightly looser than before. Adrian, absorbed in his selection of kill tools, paid me no mind. It was the opportunity I needed. My fingers moved down to the back pocket of my jeans, found their way to the small emergency blade tucked away for such a desperate moment. I grasped the blade, opening it, releasing my other hand from the restraints.
There we go. Now, which is it? Which do you choose? Or I'll choose for you.
You aren't choosing anything for me. I jumped on top of Adrian, doing multiple slashes with my blade.
You bitch. How did you get free?
He held his hands up, trying to block my blade, but I sliced off a couple of his fingers in the process. Enough! You don't get the pleasure of crying in pain. Not after everything you've done. One more swipe and I slashed his throat. I stepped back, watching him clutch at his neck, gasping for air as he tried to stem the flow from his wound. This wasn't like standing over any previous victim. This was personal. The hate I harbored for this man was immeasurable. I watched the life drain from his eyes, his body growing still, enveloped in a darkening pool beneath him. Julian! Hey, you're gonna be okay. I unlatched the straps from Julian's restraints, noticing his wound was sealed and his bandage was removed. Adrian must have cauterized it to keep us nice and fresh looking for his display. You're gonna be all right. It's over. Come on. I threw Julian's good arm around me and made our way to the back of the castle. The back of the castle looked almost identical to the front. Julian was right. There were other boats on this side, and a personal chopper. I turned back around, looking at the castle, almost forgetting what we came here for. A small thought crossed my mind to take everything this prick had, but I left it alone.
What is it?
Nothing. It's nothing, Julian. Let's go. We made our way through the dock, onto one of the yachts. Doing what we had for so long, I didn't need a key. I was able to hotwire it to get it to start. We took off back down the ocean that we came. I stopped the boat in the location that we normally dumped bodies, dropping anchor.
I thought we were going home.
No, Julian. I'm not. I emptied all my pockets and lifted my shirt off and took my pants off.
Eve, I'm not really in the mood to have sex right now. I'm sore, tired, and bruised. I just want to go home.
And you will.
What do you mean, and I will? You will too. Let's go.
I made my way over to Julian, grabbing the back of his head, putting his forehead onto mine. Hey. I love you. I'm sorry for everything I've done to you. I remember how happy you were when we first got together, and how I took it all away from you when you found out about my darkness. I'm not gonna let it happen again. It was never my intention to let that happen. I've made a lot of mistakes. I want to right those. Right here. Right now. I'm too far gone for anything to fix me. Please forgive me. I kissed him on top of his head, unlatching my bra and slipping off my underwear.
Eve, what are you doing?
Goodbye, Julian. I will forever and always love you.
Eve!
Adrian was right after all. The craving to kill was woven into the very fabric of my being. an inescapable part of who I was. Julian had said it was 110 for our last victim. Turns out, 111 was a special number. I was our last victim. As the cold water enveloped me, I swore I could feel Julian's hand grasp mine one last time. In the murky depths, it was hard to tell if he really did, or if it was just the ocean's chilling embrace. But in that moment, I hoped it was him. Even as I sank deeper, letting the darkness consume me, I carried the warmth of his touch, a fleeting reminder of what could have been, a bittersweet farewell to a path I had chosen to leave, ensuring I would no longer harm anyone else, not even those I loved the most.
So, we close another dark chapter, remembering not all art hangs on walls. Some thrive in the shadows, just like Adrian's collection, for example. Oh, that's a gallery I wouldn't mind having. If you like what you heard tonight, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and for more eerie tales, check us out on Twisted Tranquility Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, I'm the Spectre, your guide through the twisted corridors. I will see you all soon on Hallows Eve. Until then, minions.